So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Country Investor. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So in this video, we're going to talk about being obsessed. When you hear the word obsessed, it's always got a negative connotation to it. In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can use that as a positive way in your life. So stay tuned. So real quickly, what is an obsession? An obsession, in my own words, is where you just continuously actively do something that you are just passionate about. When you are not actively doing that thing that you're passionate about, you are thinking about it, you are talking about it, you are just continuously just embedded and ingrained with whatever you are passionate about. That's what I think about when I think of obsession. In today's age, obsession, the word obsessed has gained a negative connotation to it now today. You hear about people that they're obsessed with themselves, they're obsessed with this, obsessed with that, and it's always negative, right? But in today's video, we're going to talk about how you can use that as a positive, because I didn't really realize how important it is to be obsessed to be successful. And it's not a bad thing to be obsessed, guys. It just means you really care and you really love whatever it is that you're chasing, you're doing, or dreaming about. I'm going to give you a quick little example of me being obsessed and then how I applied it to business. When I was in high school, I was just obsessed with being the best at powerlifting, lifting weights, and sports in general. I was just obsessed about being the best. And it played out in my favor. You know, I remember I was lifting weights 2 or 3 times a day. Probably shouldn't even been doing that, right? It's not healthy to lift that kind of weight all the time. But I was lifting weights all the time. I would go to lunch and then finish my lunch quickly, early, and then go hit the gym and just work out. Well, I ended up being, one of the top people in the state of Texas, and that's a huge accomplishment alone. I ended up breaking world records in the college level, school records at the high school level, state records at the college level, and I didn't realize it, but I was just so obsessed. I always thought about it, talked about it, and just, did activities to better myself in that situation for lifting weights. And like I said, I didn't really realize I was obsessed. So now that I'm older, fast forward, 10 years later, I'm like, wow, I was really obsessed about it. But that's why I was successful, because I was so obsessed. I just dreamt it, lived it, and ate freaking lifting weights, man. Like that's what I did. So now fast forward, 10 years later, now I've become so obsessed about business and just learning and growing and life in general. And I've just kind of been obsessed with life. Not only business, but life, just learning, growing. That's the reason I started one of these YouTube channels, because it's just something I enjoy talking about. I enjoy talking about life, people growing, and things that we're learning in life. But again, back to business, I've grown my businesses to the point where I don't have to work anymore, because I became obsessed. I become obsessed with being successful. I personally believe there's a lot of people out there, a lot of mom and pop shops, or people who are running their own businesses that are obsessed and don't even know that they're obsessed. But that's why they may be seeing success, because they are just eating and breathing and talking and doing whatever it is that they are passionate about. And it's become an obsession, but that's how come they've become successful. It wasn't until now that I finally realized, obsession isn't a bad thing. It's actually a good thing if you use it positively. Obviously, become obsessed with drugs and drinking, obviously that's not good. Obsession can go one or two ways, right? It can be positive or it can be negative. But in business, if you become just overly obsessed with being successful and just thinking about success or whatever it is you're trying to grow as far as business-wise, you start to see success because you're just outworking, outthinking, and outdoing anybody else who is competing in that area and who isn't obsessed like you are. That's one thing I've really come to notice now, a little bit older, is being obsessed is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Now, quick disclaimer. Obsession is good. Don't get me wrong, it is good. But don't get to the point where you just forget about life in general. You forget about your partners. You forget about this. You forget about your husband, wife, your kids. Stop and enjoy the journey as well. Just, take some time out of the day to where you are not going to be thinking about these things, because it can get really entangled when you become obsessed. All you do is think about this and that. I know I forget to eat sometimes because I'm just so obsessed I enjoy what I do. I forget to eat. Same thing. Don't get caught in that, because I've now that I'm getting a little older, now I'm like, okay, I gotta like sit down and smell the roses as well. Like, enjoy the journey. Even though I'm obsessed, I still need to be obsessed about the journey as well, and be able to appreciate the journey and the growth that is happening right before my eyes, and to take advantage of the relationships and bonds that I'm able to have and to appreciate. So don't get to the point where you're just obsessed and you forget about everything, including those closest to you. But get to the point where you do, when you are not doing anything with those people, that you are obsessed about your end goal or your target, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So this is your video, guys. If you are someone who is obsessed with success, business, or whatever it is, and if it's a good obsession, this is the video that I'm opening the gate for you guys to walk through and to enjoy and to appreciate that obsession. Not everyone can get obsessed about specific things, right? So this is the video to appreciate the obsession. It's a good thing if you use it correctly. And yeah, guys, I hope you gained some value from this. Like I said, I've kind of, now that I'm getting older, I realize obsession isn't so bad. But yeah, guys, without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.